Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. Let's continue where we left off. It's 1st of March still. And, you know, unless these guys are unready... Yeah, I'm just going to put them here. I know they're not particularly powerful, but I think that way they can hold on for a little bit. Now, out here, look, I think, let's see, they're still at 15. Their motorized rifle division, but if we cut off, I think I can get off with a weak attack, but I'll put them... You see, I think that why that's one. Right, so both of those will have to go. Is there another core here for which... No. But let's get rid of that. I know I'm losing Panzers, but I really needed them out. That should help some. Now, they still have a lot of movement, which does come into play quite nicely. The thing is, there are 30,000 Soviet troops which can be taken here. And I'm just... Okay, I kind of hope... Yes, perfect. Okay. So now they're going to have to move into this hex, which, you know, will soak up movement. As my hex, that's problematic for them. It also means... I am, I think, now at liberty to attack them. That's a route. Not the very best result ever. But I'll manage. All right. Now that's something. They will not appreciate it, obviously. So there will probably be some heavy fighting. Anyway. That gives me a little bit of security in this area, or at least in this lower area for now. And I'm really appreciating. 5th Mountain out. 268th in. I also have the 17th. A 5 strength unit like that is just not good enough. I mean, ideally, I would not have given that up, but there's, I think, not really any way I'm gonna hold that. Moreover, it's gonna be more important to keep that rail line ultimately. So I'll also be investing into getting another unit there. Now, I actually think this will route them out, but I don't want them to mess up the rail. It does not. Wow. Just go for show how weak those units are. Right, well, it means I need to have at least one unit there. Yeah, so I'm kind of forced to do it like this then. Let's see, because I think I have an HQ coming in here somewhere. That's motorized. I mean, that doesn't really have to be an actual problem. They'll just be taking one unit anyway. 4th. These guys have a lot of support units, so I'm gonna ultimately have to sort that out. Alright. And I actually don't see myself beating these. It looks like it's 1, but it seems to be more like 2.6. So I don't think I could take them. Alright. So in here, things are, again, a bit problematic. I'm going to pull out of that hex. We're at 5 in there. There we go. Now, the problem is 36. I need to kick them out, basically. Now, Panzer Division is now nothing more than a shambles. Okay, so let's move them in there. Now, let's just move them. No. These guys that are doing the worst, they have to stay there, basically. I'm quite sure they're both unfit. These guys could actually do something. So do that like that. They could still move into that hex. So I'll be inclined to do that and then just to beef them up. Even now they're going back to 2. But at least on that part I do have some line now. If they want to keep going, they would have to keep going further, which is probably not going to be that great given that they don't, their rail line only goes till here. I'm still not ready to give up Tourjok, and they can push these, or try to push these units through. I don't have any counter for it, obviously, at this stage, but yeah. All right. And that will be it. You... Oh. That was never my plan. Yeah, another thing that I'm looking to do here. I was getting 4th Panzer in there. So they can't move for now, but it means they'll be operating around that area from the next turn. And I think they'll be mighty useful. So let's take a look. I really do wonder whether this is supposed to be part of this side. I actually do think I see a little bit of that. So I don't think indeed Belaya Kalitfa is on this side of the donuts. So they went through the earth. Oh no, it's logistics first. Never mind. Of course, also taking pretty long usually. So we're getting to 8th of March. Pretty soon. They've actually made a pretty big push in here. Not too happy about my ultimate winter results. I mean, we're not there yet even. So that's also something to consider. We'll see what they can do. They seem to be still not very powerful, but they seem to be able to move a lot. I also think it really does show, most likely up there, how powerful the getting the supplies from up there are. Right, so they got another hex there. Sadly, we're already seeing... might not hold here either. We're already seeing all those blizzard hexes back now. Really sucky. Man, just really disappointed with that additional blizzard. It's definitely not something that I accounted for. I just really felt like after February it should start scaling down to get some cold turns already, but apparently that's just not the case at all. Some of these also look dangerously weak. But I'm quite lucky there, at least in some cases. Yeah, that's bad. They were that weak? Wow. Okay. So another attack will probably push it there. Have to be very careful. Might have to switch the air landing for that unit. I find this down here to be a pretty interesting development too. Wow. Okay. Not saying I mind that. Or that. Interesting. Probably switch them again later. Of course, I have absolutely no info on what's happening in between. So I just indeed suddenly run into my unit down there. It also means they're less likely to immediately get into Selezarofo, where the other infantry is kind of like repairing there. Or being unready, which it has been for a while. They can't get reinforcements there, so... Sure. The thing that I find most interesting is this down here, because it does seem like they have cold there now, and nothing else. That's how it looks like anyway. They're just held by only Romanians. They're doing a reasonable job. I mean, of course, they have like 3 times the German numbers, but at least even under the blizzard, they're holding their own this way. I would not have said they would earlier on, but they actually don't even have that many penalties there. Finally, they are taking more losses than the Soviets, so must be a pretty hard fought battle for them. Still haven't seen any attacks on the 6th Army indeed, so that's probably indeed where we're headed next. Interesting that they would try to attack there. So basically, we're actually quite lucky in the sense that there's a reasonably large portion here, which is just on a regular snowfall because the blizzard is further up. Not saying that it's nice to get that blizzard there, but at least there seems to be like around a third of the front that's not affected by it. I'll take any part. Alright, they're striking hard, the Panzer Division still. And this infantry. In order to get infantry all along my front and not have to rely on panzer divisions, I will really need to get those reinforcements in there by rail. Of course, me shuffling around all those panzer divisions doesn't help either. You can bet on that. I am not pleased with that. They might do another hard attack and then... no, they're just shuffling. I mean, the good thing is that they had to move in there. That makes it a bit harder. And did some pretty hard pushbacks. And I do think that paid off, actually. Like, just being aggressive in an area with the units that I have. So they're forced to move back in there, routing a couple of their guys. They might now, you know... come on. Okay. They might now move these, cut the rail line. That'll be sucky, yeah. They could definitely do that. I really hope they won't. But as a human player, I certainly would do that, so. I find it interesting that they've completely given up on attacking Kozelsk as it is. Like that. Another attack at Torzhok. Fails. Down there, I really would like to hold that hex, and it did. Because if these guys retreat... that's game over, basically. With all these units, it seems not that likely they'll continue to attack there. Which gives me a little bit more time. The situation at Kalinin is still precarious, of course, as before. But it seems like these attacks should be fine here. If I can get these guys to push out, that'd be an ideal situation. But I'm not particularly in a position of strength there. But they cannot move further down, so that's basically about as far as they'll go for the moment. They've put a crack in there. Well, that doesn't mean they've taken down the wall. And, alright. Oof. Interesting that they're attacking in a form frontline phase. They've done that before. They might want to try and form a frontline there or something. But I'm loath to give up that piece of the front, definitely. Alright, we survived another turn. 8th of March. There we go. So I have to deal with more blizzard turns. Of course, the weather next turn is going to be critical too. Of course, after this we're going to 15th of March. Halfway through. And out of those 3 parts of March, or was it 4? I'm not sure. I think 3. The last part is going to be cold, or at least that's the weather template. Which is a big difference from Blizzard. And it already looks like in the southern part we're having cold, so it's definitely worth taking a look there too, in that lowest area. Alright, obviously logistics very long as usual, and there we go. Whoop. And save, bam bam bam, there we go. Point still 703. Nothing else except partisans. We already had those, so nothing changes there. Let's take a look at the weather. Current weather conditions. We have indeed blizzard over a large portion. Doesn't change really, because it just stays in that center, huh? Weather ground remains the same, pretty much, for both turns. Yeah. So it climate even warm, ground snow, air cold. Yeah. What does that have as an effect? I think the river is still frozen. Major river east 10. Yeah, because that's the ice levels. So at ice level 10 it would certainly be frozen. Same here. Well, it's interesting that we can actually see it. It's the first time in any of these locations that we're regular cold. Also immediately shows in 16th motorized, like this kind of supply, or at least this kind of supply recovery is really good around this area. It just really looks like those units are set and ready to go. Let's take a quick look at these. So apparently Western Europe is too little now, funnily enough. We're short quite a bit. 12 actually. And let's actually see if reinforcement. A lot of units will get disbanded, but there only seems to be a flak regiment coming and a light flak battalion through the 37th Infantry Division. It's not enough. Indeed. Even should that unit get there, it will most likely not be enough. All these replacement units are very weak. This is 10. It will have to do. Norway is enough. Finland too. Now because Finland is 106, it means I can probably take some off the table. I'm 13 over it. The most interesting would be mountain divisions, obviously. So let's see, 2nd, 3rd, it's a mountain regiment. I'm quite sure I can send 217. Sweet. All right. As long as it's close to 100, it's fine, and the mountain units are obviously the more important there. So I really want to get them there. 101, 117. I also like to have a lot of units in Africa, because the longer we can keep Africa, the better. We haven't seen that push back to... do they even show it on the map? They don't. It's kind of weird. Have to zoom in more. They don't show any roads, I guess. Yeah, but the retreat back to Elagela. We haven't seen it yet, obviously. Not really sure when that historically happened. I think somewhat later, but the later we see that, the better. So that's also a thing. Italy is fine, and then Balkans is now 99. How much do they need? 1.5 more. You know, there's 0.4. .6. 1.85. That's really weak. Oh. Really? Well, this should do it. All right, there we go. You know, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here, because then I can deal a little bit more with air reorganization and things like that before I take it up again. 630. You really see that suddenly some of these guys have much better supplies here. Like, look at this. Some others are doing still really poorly, but that's okay. But I really do think the fact that we have this here now, like, it does seem to increase supplies there a bit. That's good. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.